The next big wave of blockchain users is just starting to join. They are starting with well-known companies and use cases like Ripple. And we are going to talk about it. All of you are welcome to the group. My name is Nick. If this video is your first time on the channel, I hope you decide to join by the end. This post by Rathaf Kahneman from not too long ago is about a Ripple partner called Freak, which used to be called MFS Africa. It gives us some interesting information about how payments are changing. It talks about their role as a business that connects mobile wallets and cards across countries. Compatible use it wouldn't have made sense to me any other way. This piece of writing was done in the middle of June. Interoperability between cards and mobile money makes it possible for Africa to use global banking systems. To be honest, it's easy to get into crypto positions, but it's very hard to have a plan for when it's time to cash out. That's why I put out a free exit plan that you can use for any crypto position you take. Another great thing about it is that it's free. To get in, all you have to do is click on the link in the text below right now. Why are you still here? Take those gains. Overall, this is a very interesting look at what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on, and how can we help people who don't have bank accounts? The answer is the phone. According to the GSMA's 2024 report on registered money, the number of mobile money accounts grew by 12% to 1.7 billion in 2023. International money transfers made through mobile money reached nearly $29 billion, and payments to merchants grew by 14% to about $74 billion. And Kenya, where Pace is the most popular payment method, it makes it easy for users to do a variety of deals, but it's still not widely used outside of Kenya. Even though mobile money is becoming more popular, global retailers often don't like it when Africans can't do business with them. This gap is filled by card payment systems, which are still very popular and needed for doing business across borders. And this seems like a great way for a lot of people to use and interact with blockchain technology, right? Besides that, there is also value exchange. Blockchain technology has the ability to move a huge amount of value around the clock every day of the year. But these are 500 million phone wallets. There are already 500 million smart wallets connected to the network. For now, just think about what that means. Also, we all know that Ripple grew with Freak into Africa, the Gulf states, the UK, and Australia in November of last year. We knew at the time that Freak could get into 400 million mobile funds. They've added more than 100 million new mobile wallets to their network in very little time. Also, the fact that Ripple covers 90% of the FX markets really draws attention to them. As you can see, Ripple has grown so much that they're now covering almost everything. Now that the time is right to really switch over to blockchain-based payments, they'll be there ahead of the curve with names like Freak. On top of that, we have this report from Volvera. This is why digital wallets are becoming more popular and what that means for X. That's why I want to really bring up the fact that, Ripple does cover 90% of the FX market. This is because these will change the FX market. It looks like everything is shifting. We can see that the use of digital wallets grew quickly during the pandemic, and experts think that this growth will continue. Juniper Research actually thinks that in 2 years, more than half of the people in the world will be using digital accounts. The study said that by 2026, more than 5.2 billion people will use e-wallets, up from 3.4 billion in 2022. 53% growth is a huge amount. Take a look at that. 5.2 billion people use e-wallets, which can be mobile wallets, digital wallets, or anything else. This really changes the game, and digital wallets give us new ways to pay for things in foreign exchange. Because digital wallets can be more open to everyone than traditional banks in many areas, especially in places where women haven't always had access to or power over their own money. Also, digital wallets make it easy to pay people directly without going through a third party, which is useful for businesses that use a lot of independent contractors. According to Bank of America, digital wallets are already being used for quick and easy payments in insurance, healthcare, assisted living, and all kinds of media and entertainment. By the way, don't forget to use XRP. Now we can see that change from the old ways to the new ones happening in real time, even when it comes to phones being the main way people pay, right? A lot like how phones have become wallets. That's where we begin to think about how big this is going to be. For example, what kinds of big changes are going to happen behind the scenes? And, well, the fact that this works with bank accounts and that digital wallets are becoming more well-known and trusted may help spread the use of tokenization even more. What the bank study says is that tokenizing supplier data can cut down on fraud and the work of managing vendor master data. In this way, almost everything about blockchain is being brought together, and this is where we can start to see how we're going to switch to new payment methods and get rid of banks for good. In other words, banks aren't really useful right now. There's no doubt that banks will still be important, but not as much as they are now. This is where the phone turns into a bank. This is also where you can bank through DeFi. And Bank of America says that tokenization is the key to these payments. Tokenization means that the user's card or bank information stays with the user and only an alias or token is shared with merchants. Once more, this is progress at its best. This is a report from April 1st. In this case, that's 5.2 billion cell wallets or digital wallets. Today, we're also going to talk about mobile money and how phones can be hacked. Okay, let's talk about Thunes. Why? Because we know that Ripple is becoming well known in Africa. This is what Africa will look like in the future. Something like a bank, a shop, a TV, and the government all in one. The quote comes from XRP Drops and comes from Caleb Maru, who is looking for tech in Africa. Don't forget that Onafrique is the network of networks in Africa, and that Ripple is a partner. It's funny that everyone has forgotten about Thursday. When we look at Thunes, they've been killing it. As an example, back in March of this year, Thunes and Visa expanded their relationship to include Asia and Africa in digital wallets. This is a big use case that makes digital wallets easier to use. It builds on the fact that digital wallets are a quick, safe, and easy way to pay that is becoming more and more common. By 2026, they'll be used by more than 60% of people in the world. Right, it's a huge use case as we keep building on top of this. This is a big deal because, as I said before, when we think about how to improve digital wallets, we really look at the technology behind them. In this case, we also look at Thunes because of its links to Ripple, which I will talk about in a moment. But in October of last year, Thunes and Access Africa worked together to help 13 African countries get better cross-border refunds. And this is on top of the fact that we need more openness and easy payments across borders. In order to do this, mobile payments could be linked to pretty much everything else. Once more, a focus on phone cases. Also, this is from July 10th of last year. It shows how important Africa is becoming. It will start in these places that are ready for payment technology to change things. We also have information on how to make funds and systems work better in Africa. Also, we can see that fintech companies have moved Africa into the digital age. 70% of all mobile money transfers in the world happen on the continent. This is a $1 trillion business. Even though digital payment options are very popular, they are not fully interoperable between platforms, companies, and countries. This makes it harder for people to get access to money and makes the economy less efficient in Africa. It's crazy that they even list some of the names that deal with funds and working together. We can see that these efforts were talked about at the Inclusive FinTech Forum. Experts from Ripple, Swift, Circle, and Mojaloop were among those who joined. We also know that Mojaloop has linked up with Ripple. We have thought about Swift and whether Swift was working with Ripple. We've already talked about this, but I still think it's crazy that DLTs are now getting so much attention. Don't forget who Thunes works with. Ripple and Thunes work together. The fact that this happened kind of proves how important Thunes is. Once more, having a connection with Ripple is very important because it shows that they are a big part of improving payments in Africa and making sure that this revolution and evolution of payments technology happens with Ripple and XRP being at the forefront of this. With that out of the way, I hope you guys like this movie. If you like what you see, please leave a like, turn on alerts, and follow me on Twitter. You can also join the free Discord from the link below. That being said, guys, it's Nick. Thanks for seeing.